Founders Notes, Edition 26, Week 10, Readiness, Founders Reflections, The Discipline of Letting Go. Prologue. Every founder must one day face the moment when control becomes a liability, when the very instinct that built the vessel threatens to capsize it, when the need to hold turns from stewardship into suffocation. This is the threshold of readiness. Readiness is not the end of effort, it is the evolution of trust. It is when the builder understands that the true test of leadership is not what he can command, but what can endure without him. The hardest part of any craft is knowing when to stop carving, when to put down the chisel and trust the form to hold its own weight. That is what this scroll is all about. The discipline of letting go, not as abandonment, but as the highest form of governance. The paradox of control. In the beginning, control is essential. A founder builds by grip, by precision, by sleepless vigilance. He holds the blueprint, he corrects the course, he enforces the vow. But control is a paradox. The same force that ignites creation must one day learn to release it. In time, control that once protected the mission begins to restrain it. It slows the pace of adaptation. It prevents new stewards from carrying the rhythm forward. It demands presence rather than permanence. Control is the impulse of fear disguised as care. Readiness is its antidote. The courage to release what has been built without abandoning what it stands for. The founder who cannot release will exhaust himself trying to be irreplaceable. The one who learns to trust his own architecture will live on through it. Because readiness is not the absence of involvement. It is the transformation of involvement into legacy. The founder's inner transition, from architect to anchor. The first half of a founder's life is about building what did not exist. The second half is about ensuring it can endure without him. This transition requires a new kind of strength, not the strength to drive, but the strength to yield. Not the force to push forward, but the wisdom to hold still. The mature founder becomes less the architect, more the anchor. He no longer asks, "What more can I add?" He begins to ask, "What must remain when I am gone?" He understands that readiness is not about stepping away. It is about stepping aside, so that others may step forward. And in that space, continuity is born. Because the greatest inheritance any founder can give is not control, but capacity. Not his presence, but his principles, embedded so deeply that they no longer require explanation. The cost of clinging. The inability to let go is not ambition, it is insecurity in disguise. The founder who clings not to vision, but to validation. He confuses leadership with attention, relevance with necessity. But in the end, the need to be needed corrodes both the founder and the foundation. Because what cannot exist without you cannot outlive you. A system that depends on its creator's constant presence is not a legacy, it is a dependency. And dependency is the enemy of endurance. To those who fear irrelevance, remember this: you are not leaving the system, you are giving it breath. When you release control, you do not vanish. You become part of the architecture itself, invisible yet essential. That is the quiet genius of readiness, to disappear without being absent. Practical application, the structure of release. At Centaur Consulting Group, we understand readiness not as emotion, but as a process, an operational discipline that transforms the founder's will into structure. The following 5 practices form the architecture of graceful release. 1. Codify before you step back. The founder must first ensure the vow is transcribed in form. Every principle that was once lived in instinct must be written, embedded, and tested in procedure. Clarity before absence. 2. Install guardians of the rhythm. Delegate not tasks, but stewardship. Appoint people not just for competence, but for conscience. Those who can preserve the rhythm when the founder's hands are gone. Give them authority to act and accountability to remember. 3. Replace centralization with circulation. Instead of holding all authority at the top, distribute rhythm across functions. Empower each division to operate by principle, not by permission. When governance circulates, endurance multiplies. 4. Establish rituals of trust. Let go gradually, but deliberately. Set clear checkpoints of independence, quarterly decision reviews, founder-absent meetings, cross-functional councils. Each successful milestone becomes proof that the structure can stand. 5. Create a founder's shadow document. A private record, not for publication, but for reflection. Document the lessons, regrets, and cautions only you could know. It is not instruction. It is wisdom preserved, a silent map for those who will one day face their own moment of readiness. Closing whisper, the courage to step back. The founder's greatest act of leadership is not starting the fire. It is knowing when to stop feeding it. Readiness is the discipline of release, not to abandon, but to bless. To let the vessel sail without your constant hand, trusting that the design will remember the vow. Because what you built was never yours to keep, it was yours to prepare. And if you have built with conscience, with rhythm, with governance, then your absence will not be a void. It will be a presence that no longer requires explanation. When the founder steps back, and the structure holds, and the rhythm continues, that is readiness. That is leadership fulfilled. Demetris, founder and torchbearer.